Hey guys, it's me again. So I apologize in advance for this video. It's going to be a little bit different. I may not be looking at the camera as much as I usually do. I'm currently reading a script. Just kind of wanted to try something different, see if this works better for me. So it'll be a little bit different. Now, 1917 just had its wide release. I saw it, so here's my review. 1917 is a new World War I drama that's written by Sam Mendes and Krysty Wilson-Cairns and directed by Sam Mendes. It focuses on two young British soldiers, Lance Corporals Blake and Schofield, during the First World War, who are given an impossible mission: deliver a message deep into enemy territory that will stop 1,600 men, including a brother of one of the soldiers, from walking straight into a deadly trap. So here are some things I liked about the movie. The movie's greatest strength lies in the use of the one-shot style. The entire movie is filmed and edited to look like one continuous take, minus a single cut to show the passage of time. Because of this, the audience gets a different perspective than is usually seen in most films. Due to the nature of the genre, war movies can easily get the audience very invested in their characters and their situations. You know, it's easy for us to be able to root for somebody who's constantly getting shot at and is very close to death the whole time. We easily want them to not die. However, in 1917, we feel even closer to the two soldiers. Instead of, watching them walk through this area, we feel more that we are walking with them or next to them. In the times that they stop to rest, we feel like we need to be the ones who are kind of looking around the corner or over the next hill to see if there's going to be enemies coming, looking for the danger that these two maybe are not. Another thing that I really enjoyed about the movie is the story itself. We usually see in this genre movies focused on particular groups of soldiers or maybe certain famous generals, or focuses on certain battles. 1917 separates itself from most of these movies by focusing on just the two main characters and their mission. Now, because of this, 1917 is one of the most tension-filled war movies that I've seen. The story is so incredibly simple, yet so much rides on the soldiers completing their task that it feels like a very epic and complex, intense story. To me, the tension feels so high because these two soldiers are responsible for the lives of the 1,600 others that they're trying to warn. If these two get killed, we know that the entire 1,600 in the other regiment will be killed the next morning when they go into the trap, and this works in the movie so well. It was intense the entire time. The acting by the two leads is very well done. Dean Charles Chapman and George MacKay are able to display the fear, emotion, and determination that Blake and Schofield experience throughout this movie in a very believable way. Their chemistry with one another works out nicely and helps to occasionally relieve the tension somewhat, and it's not necessarily with jokes, more so than it is simply just having conversations with each other and being on this mission together. It lightens the audience a little bit, knowing that at least they have each other. The last thing I'll talk about under the things that were really good in this movie was the cinematography. Now, I'm not normally one who will, typically notice camera work in movies unless it's either exceptionally good or exceptionally bad. The cinematography in this movie is, of course, the former. It is exceptionally good. And I'm not just talking about how they made it look like one shot, although that's obviously cool in itself, but it also wasn't like it was a lazy one shot. They could have just done like a tracking behind the soldiers or in front of the soldiers and kind of just stayed on the same plane the whole time. That still would have been impressive to film and edit it like it was one shot, but they didn't do it in a boring way. One of the prime examples of this is there's one part where Blake and Schofield are going into this, it's like a crater that's been, blown up in the ground, and there's like a body of water in it. It's a puddle, but it's like, about the size of a pond. So they're kind of crawling around on the sides of the crater walls to try to get around it. And instead of the camera, tracking the back of them, would be the easiest thing to do, or looking over top of them, it doesn't. The camera pulls out and then it goes right on the surface of the water and kind of tracks them as they go. And then once they get to the other side of this puddle, it comes back towards them and it zooms back in. Again, they could have been lazy with it, they weren't, and it makes for some really cool, noticeable shots in the movie. So here, there's not really anything I didn't like. I don't have any really negative things to say on it. There's one complaint that I could kind of think of. And that was me becoming distracted by, what the best thing in this movie was for me was how the camera helped with the story. I also became distracted by it. I was thinking too much about like, can I find a cut there? Can I find a cut there? Like, did they mess up? Or I was so impressed with how they did it. I was like, how in the world did they do that? And I was kind of pulled out of the movie for just a little bit, trying to figure out how they did that. But I mean, that's kind of on me. That's the only thing I could really find to say, and things that I didn't like. So overall, I thought 1917 was a fantastic war film that really touched on the major themes of determination, perseverance, bravery. The movie is very technically well done and tells a very engrossing story, and by the end, it inspires you. I would give this movie a 98% as like a grade, and if you can find an opportunity to watch it at any time, I highly recommend you check it out. Thanks for watching. See you next time.